of religious organizations and circumstances leading to more than 95 deaths in Shakahola, Kilifi County. The other motion is by the Senator Kathuru Murungi on the report of the 146th Assembly of the Interparliamentary Union and related meetings held in Manama, Kingdom of Bahrain from 11th to 15th of March 2023. That motion will be moved by the Honorable Member, Senator Kathuri Murungi. The Senate Majority Leader will lay on the table of the Senate two papers. One, the National Land Commission Annual Report for financial year 2022-2023. And the second paper is the Architects and Quantity Surveyors Amendment Bylaws 2023 Legal Notice number 188 of 2023. There will also be questions and statements. The Senator for Nyandarua County, Senator John Methu, will seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources concerning harassment of farmers in Bahati and Dundori Forest by the Kenya Forest Service Rangers. The Senator for Nyandarua County will also seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries regarding agricultural support to farmers in Bahati and Dundori areas. The nominated Senator Raphael Chimera will seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Cohesion, Equal Opportunity and Regional Integration regarding the adherence to the principles of meritocracy, transparency, fairness, and equal opportunity in the recruitment of the Director General of the Competition Authority of Kenya. The nominated senator will also seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Health regarding delay in processing of medical insurance claims for teachers and police officers by Medical Administrators Kenya Limited. The nominated senator will also seek a statement from the Health Committee regarding withheld functions and financial challenges at the National Cancer Institute. Nominated Senator Shakil Abdallah will seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget concerning customs regulations and taxation for travelers returning to Kenya via the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Nominated Senator Hamida Kibwana will seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations regarding the review of charges, fees and levies related or relating to immigration and citizen services. The nominated senator will also seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights concerning gender-based violence incidents in the political space in Kenya. If you're just joining us, we are waiting for the business of the Senate to begin this afternoon, where the senators will be debating the report of the Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations on the application for conferment of city status to the municipality of Eldoret. That the Senate adopts the report of the Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations on the application for conferment of city status to the municipality of Eldoret, laying on the table of the Senate Wednesday, September 20th, 2023. And pursuant to this Section 8, Subsection 6 of the Urban Areas and Cities Act of 2011, the Senate approves the conferment of city status to the municipality of Eldoret. If you're just joining us, that's the Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Emerson Kingi. Let me now hand you over for this live broadcast.
Almighty God, we beseech you to behold with abundant favor and blessings us, your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to leadership positions in this republic. We seek guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you've committed to our church. Amen. Clerk, do we have quorum? Sergeant at Arms, kindly ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes.
Good afternoon. If you're just joining us, the Speaker of the Senate has ordered the quorum bell be rung so that the Senate can achieve the requisite quorum needed for business to begin. The senators will be debating the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, Senate Bills number 30 of 2023, which has been lined up for debate for the second reading. The last time the senators debated this bill was on Wednesday, 18th of October 2023. And should the senators dispense of this or complete the debate for the second reading, then that bill will be subjected to a division to determine whether it should proceed to the committee of the whole. The bills which will be debated after that include the Care and Protection of Child Parents Bill, which was debated on Thursday, 16th of November 2023. Of course, there is some balance of time there. After that, the Senate will vote on it to determine whether the bill also proceeds to the Committee of the Whole. The Prevention of Livestock and Produce Theft Bill, the Heritage and Museums Bill, Senate Bills number 8 of 2023, as
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of this Senate today, the 21st of November 2023, being, Mr. Speaker, 1, the National Land Commission Annual Report for financial year 2022-2023, and the Architects and Quantity Surveyors Amendment Bylaws 2023, legal notice number 188 of 2023. I thank you.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Senator Mungatana, your delegate units seem to be having issues.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, that pursuant, I wish to stand on a point of order stating that pursuant to Standing Order number 37, the Senate do now adjourn to discuss a definite matter of urgent national importance, namely the prevailing heavy rain and subsequent flooding in many parts of the country. Mr. Speaker, I request, thank you.
Honorable Senators, indeed, I'm satisfied that the requisite threshold has been met. Therefore, direct that this matter be discussed at 5:30. Next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Senator John Methu, those are statements pursuant to Standing Order 53-1. That statement is dropped. There are two for Senator John Methu. Senator Raphael Chimera. Yes, Senator, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Request for a statement on adherence to the principles of meritocracy, transparency, fairness, and equal opportunity in recruitments at the Competition Authority of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Cohesion, Equal Opportunity, and Regional Integration regarding the adherence to the principles of meritocracy, transparency, fairness, and equal opportunity in recruitments at the Competition Authority of Kenya, in brackets CAK, particularly in the recruitment of the Director General of the authority. In the statement, the committee should, number 1, explain the recruitment process for the Director General of position at CAK, outlining the steps taken so far in the recruitment of the DG and the corresponding timelines. Number 2, Mr. Speaker, disclose details of the tendering process for the procurement of the recruitment services for the DG position, explaining the rationale for the award of the tender to ACAL Consulting. Number 3, Mr. Speaker, reports on the fairness of the recruitment process, explaining the failure of the authority to provide feedback to candidates, as well as publish the long lists and short lists. Number 4, Mr. Speaker, confirm claims of conflict of interest, secrecy, or bias in the recruitment process, and if so, remedial action taken. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, clarify whether the Public Service Commission is actively monitoring the recruitment process to ensure it aligns with the principles of meritocracy, transparency, fairness, and equal opportunity, and outline measures to ensure that the recruitment process is conducted in a transparent and fair manner. I also have another set of speaker request for statement on the withheld functions and financial challenges of the National Cancer Institute, Kenya. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Health regarding the withheld functions and financial challenges of the National Cancer Institute, NCI, Kenya. In the statement, the committee should, number 1, state the challenges, if any, experienced by the national government in the implementation of the Cancer Prevention and Control Act, number 15 of 2012, specifically relating to the functions and responsibilities of the National Cancer Institute, NCI, Kenya. Number 2, state measures put in place by the government to ensure that the NCI Kenya effectively executes its mandate, including the restoration of its regulatory and oversight functions, outlining the specific functions that have been withheld and the rationale for such actions. Number 3, spell out actions being taken to address the financial challenges faced by the NCI Kenya, and that it operates and ensure that it operates with the intended financial autonomy. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, indicate the steps being taken to strengthen the collaboration between the Ministry of Health and the NCI Kenya to enhance cancer prevention and control efforts in the country. Last statement, Mr. Speaker, is a request for a statement on delay in processing of medical insurance claims for teachers and police officers by Medical Administrators Kenya Limited. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Health regarding the undue delay in processing of medical insurance claims for teachers and police officers by the Medical Administrators Kenya Limited, MAKL. In the statement, the committee should, number 1, provide details of the medical insurance schemes for teachers and police officers managed by Medical Administrators Kenya Limited, MAKL, indicating the number of respective beneficiaries and panels of medical and healthcare service providers. Number 2, Mr. Speaker, report on the criteria for processing claims at MAKL, explaining the delays reported by teachers and police officers in the processing of medical insurance claims. Number 3, Mr. Speaker, explain actions taken by the Insurance Regulatory Authority, the Teachers Service Commission, and the National Police Service Commission to address the said delays. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, outline measures put in place to ensure the timely and efficient processing of medical insurance claims in line with the terms and conditions of the respective schemes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Shakila Abdallah. That statement is dropped. Senator Hamida Kibwana. That statement is dropped. In fact, Senator Hamida Kibwana had 2 statements. Those 2 statements are hereby dropped for reasons that she is not present. Next order, clerk.
Order number 8, motion, report of the Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations on the application for conferment of city status to the municipality of Eldoret Division.
So this motion is up for division, and clearly we do not have numbers to undertake a division, and therefore this motion shall be deferred. Next order, clerk.
Order number 9, the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, Senate Bills number 30 of 2023, division.
This motion, this particular bill is also up for division. Unfortunately, we do not have the numbers to carry out a division, and therefore this bill will be deferred. Next order.
Order number 10, the Care and Protection of Child Parents Bill, Senate Bills number 29 of 2023, division.
This particular bill is also up for division. Noting that we don't have the numbers to carry out that division, this order will also be deferred. Next order, clerk.
Order number 11, the Prevention of Livestock and Produce Theft Bill, Senate Bills number 12 of 2023, second reading.
Now, at interruption of debate on Thursday, Senator Chute had the floor, and he had a balance of 5 minutes. So, Senator Chute, you may proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I can cede my time to anybody who wants to speak.
Thank you. Senator Wafula.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Unfortunately, I was testing whether my buttons are working. Thank you. I can also hand over to the next person.
Senator Kinyua.
Asante Bwana Spika kunipa fursa hii. Nimebonyeza nikiwa na uhaki nitaongea, na nashukuru Bwana Spika kunipa fursa hii. Na mswada huu Bwana Spika, kuhusu wizi wa mifugo na kuzuia wizi wa mifugo Bwana Spika. Ni kweli Bwana Spika, mswada huu ambao umeletwa na Senator Cherargei ni mswada ambao unafaa zaidi Bwana Spika wakati huu, kwa sababu Bwana Spika, ukitembea sehemu nyingi za nchi ya Kenya, hasa upande wa bonde la Ufa Bwana Spika, utembee sehemu hizo, utapata shida nyingi ambao wananchi wanapitia Bwana Spika, ni huu wizi wa mifugo Bwana Spika. Na wizi wa mifugo Bwana Spika ni jambo ambalo limekuwa likisumbua kwa miaka na mikaka Bwana Spika. Na Bwana Spika, ukitembea sehemu nyingi za Laikipia, hasa wale ambao ni wafugaji, utapata ya kwamba wao wanategemea ile mifugo Bwana Spika. Mifugo ndio wanategemea kwa watoto wao waweze kwenda shule Bwana Spika. Wanategemea mifugo ile Bwana Spika kama ndio tegemeo lao Bwana Spika kwa maisha yao Bwana Spika. Lakini imekuwa ni kitu ambacho inafanya wao wenyewe Bwana Spika wauawe. Ukitembea sana Bwana Spika sehemu za mahali kunaitwa Wangwashe Bwana Spika, uende mahali kunaitwa Ormora Bwana Spika, mahali kunaitwa Matweku Bwana Spika, watu wengi Bwana Spika wamepoteza maisha yao kwa sababu ya wizi huu wa mifugo. Na Bwana Spika, huu si wizi wa mifugo ule wa kawaida Bwana Spika, kwa sababu wizi wa mifugo wa kitambo Bwana Spika ulikuwa watu wakishambuliwa na mifugo inachukuliwa, lakini wakati huu Bwana Spika wanashambulia kuwaua watu Bwana Spika, na baada ya kuwaua watu Bwana Spika, unaona huendi ile mifugo inaenda mahali fulani kuchungwa Bwana Spika. Ile mifugo inaibiwa, inaletwa katika miji mikuu, na si wizi wa kawaida ambao ulibwa na walala hoi Bwana Spika. Wizi huu wa mifugo ambao unaendelezwa Bwana Spika, na ndiposa naunga mswada huu mkono, kwa sababu unasema ya kwamba mswada huu unasema wizi wa mifugo utakuwa ukiwekwa katika kipengee kile ambacho wale ambao wamehusika na huu wizi wa mifugo na kupatikana na hii mifugo Bwana Spika, wawe wakichukuliwa hatua dhabiti Bwana Spika za kisheria. Kwa hivyo Bwana Spika, naunga mkono mswada huu nikisema ya kwamba si wezi wa mifugo peke yake Bwana Spika, kwa sababu pengine unapata yule ambaye ako na wale mifugo ndio anachukuliwa hatua za kisheria Bwana Spika. Hata wafanyi biashara ambao wamehusika na wizi huu, kwa sababu wao ndio wanapelekea vijana wetu kutoenda shule, ndio waweze kujihusisha na wizi huu wa mifugo Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo Bwana Spika, nikiunga mkono, ningesema ya kwamba sio wale tu wahusika wadogo wanapaswa kwa kichukuliwa hatua, wale waliokuja kuiba hii mifugo usiku, lakini hata wale ambao wamepelekewa hii mifugo Bwana Spika na kuweza kuendeleza hii biashara, kwa sababu biashara hii ya mifugo wa wizi ikisimamishwa Bwana Spika, hata wezi wale rejareja Bwana Spika, wale wanakuja kufungulia mifugo ya watu Bwana Spika, wataweza kukoma Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, sisi hasa watu wa Laikipia shida hii, na ndiposa naunga mswada huu mkono. Mswada huu ukipita, wizi wa mifugo utakuwa ni jambo la sahau la kwetu Laikipia, na najua maendeleo mengi yataweza kupatikana Bwana Spika. Naunga mkono mswada huu na anasema Bwana Spika upite haraka iwezekanavyo Bwana Spika, na anasema asante kwa kunipa fursa hii. Asante Bwana Spika.
Senator Dulo, what is your intervention? Proceed to speak then.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I wish to support this particular bill. Mr. Speaker, over the years in Parliament, we have really tried to come up with bills that can support the issues of cattle rustling and banditry in this country. But unfortunately, we have never seen any of those bills seeing the light of the day. I remember 2013, Senator Naisula brought a bill that was going to take care of that, and more so the issues between the pastoralists and also agriculturalists. But unfortunately, even that bill, it has never gone through. Mr. Speaker, I must confess that issues of pastoralism and livestock and banditry in this country, it's not being taken very seriously. And there are so many of Kenyans who rely on issues of pastoralism and issues of livestock. But you will see, Mr. Speaker, most of the time, even when people are looking at the budget and the policy, the issue of livestock the issue of pastoralism becomes a second thought issue. Mr. Speaker, it's high time that we deal with the issues of banditry and livestock. Mr. Speaker, looking at the bill, the issues of branding of the animals has been introduced. If you look at the issues of branding, some of us who are pastoralists, every community, clan or sub-clan, they have their branding traditionally. So that if my animal is being taken by somebody, automatically I have a particular branding because I come from a certain community. But over the years, Mr. Speaker, that has not actually assisted. Mr. Speaker, issues of banditry and cattle rustling, it used to be a traditional issues where certain communities feel that when they actually go through a certain process, they should actually go and steal animals so that they become heroes and they get actually married or use the same resources to marry. Mr. Speaker, that has completely changed. Cattle rustling and banditry of animals has actually become a business where you can imagine people, for example, I have an issue with Isiolo County where our pastoralists are being attacked by Samburu County, Marsabit County, Garissa County, Wajir County. Isiolo has become a punching bag and we are boxed in a corner. Mr. Speaker, we have even tried to use provincial administration. I remember one time a former PC, Swale, was taken to Garissa to deal with the issues of banditry and cattle rustling. Mr. Swale actually tried to make sure that whichever chief will be found that animals are stolen from his area, he is actually removed from the service. And that particular time, Mr. Speaker, that really worked. Mr. Speaker, when these groups of bandits or youths come together, it's an organized crime where people sit and they have actually arrangement to make sure they go and hit a particular area. Mr. Speaker, in those areas, the chiefs are there, the elders are there, the security is there, the provincial administration is there. Unfortunately, when those animals are taken, nobody will see them. I remember 2 weeks ago, we have lost almost 500 goats in Isiolo County. Immediately it leaves the boundary, those goats are divided within certain villages. You will not even see where it has gone. Mr. Speaker, these bandits, we have tried the issue of NPR in this country, which has never worked. Because if security, for example, police or provincial administrations are the ones following these animals, for the years we are unable to get those animals back. Then we said, can we use NPR so that they can complement actually the normal regular police and the provincial administration? Even that has never worked. And I think, Mr. Speaker, as a country, we have to take this very seriously because for pastoralists, this is source of livelihood. Today you have 1,000 animals, tomorrow you have 0, you are reduced to nothing. And sometimes you will even sell these animals to take your kids to school. After these animals are taken, what do you do with your children? How do you feel as a person who was having 1,000 camels? Tomorrow, they are all taken away. Mr. Speaker, I support this particular bill if it is for any reason that we are going to have a solution as far as banditry and cattle rustling is concerned. I remember even many years back, we even introduced the issue of chip that is going to be put in the animals. Even that, it never worked because it's very expensive. We are not going to be able to introduce that. Mr. Speaker, as pastoralists, we have a big problem in this country. During rainy season, we have a problem. During drought, we have a problem. And more so, during drought, people fight because of pasture. People fight because of, water. Yeah, fighting over resources. No solution in this country that we ever get. Mr. Speaker, we are really affected as pastoralists with the issue of this issue of cattle rustling. We must have a solution to it. And if for any reason this is going to actually change the current situation of the issue of cattle rustling and banditry, I think we will support that. But I feel that as a country, we are being neglected by the government and all the government representatives as far as issues of pastoralism and the cattle rustling is concerned. Mr. Speaker, recently we had a lot of rains. You can imagine animals crossing, all of them are swept by the rivers. Yeah? Today you are rich, tomorrow you are nobody. Water harvesting that should have happened right now to actually alleviate the problem of drought is not even happening anywhere in our counties. Rainy season, you will see that the rivers are killing people. Houses are swept. As a country, we don't even prioritize to harvest that water so that tomorrow the pastoralists, the people who have cattle can be able to survive on those dams or water from the river. Mr. Speaker, I support this particular bill, but I think as a country, we must have a candid discussion as far as issues of cattle rustling is concerned in this country. I know CS Kindiki has tried. In fact, he has traversed this country from the day he was appointed. It has slowly come down, but unfortunately, up to now, even last week in my county, animals are actually being taken away, which is very sad. We have security, we have government in place, we have chiefs. There is no solution at all. I think personally, I feel maybe we need to introduce a curriculum where we say that banditry should be dealt with. I know there is a bill before our committee by County Assembly of Elgeyo Marakwet. We visited them 2 weeks ago, where they are saying that the issue of cattle rustling and banditry, it should be actually subjected to as a terror act. Mr. Speaker, we must support that as pastoralists because we are not getting solution to this issue of cattle rustling and banditry. We are really pained as pastoralists because there is no solution. Mr. Speaker, if anything happens in agricultural area, you will see people running, having solution in this country. But when it comes to pastoralists and the cattle rustling and the nomads, no solution at all. I think we need to put our heads together and come up with a solution as far as issues of cattle rustling and banditry is concerned in this country. Because initially we thought maybe banditry is being brought into this country by Al-Shabaab and other people. But now it's not even Al-Shabaab. It's our own people doing the same thing. We know each other. But unfortunately, sometimes even those who are doing the same thing, we protect them. I remember we are being told an incident in Elgeyo Marakwet where they are saying a bandit was actually attacked and he was brought to the hospital. Can you imagine people coming to release that particular individual who has committed a crime, who has killed somebody? People go to the hospital to release him. I mean, it's unacceptable, Mr. Speaker. So I think personally I support the bill, but we must get a solution to this problem of cattle rustling in this country. I thank you.
Senator Cheptumo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this bill. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the intention and the objective of this bill, is proposes a law that will enable the branding of livestock. Mr. Speaker, the intention therefore is for identification of the livestock, so that if they are stolen, it is possible to be identified this livestock belongs to which county, which constituency, and so on. And the intention, Mr. Speaker, is to help the security agencies and government to facilitate recovery of livestock and identify the owners of those livestock, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, this is the culmination of the situation that has been faced by the pastoral communities for a very long time. And, Mr. Speaker, this bill is an attempt by Senator Gerard Gay in this House, Mr. Speaker, to look for ways and means of reducing the so-called cat rustling and banditry, Mr. Speaker, because therefore it is easily to track the stolen livestock. Mr. Speaker, in 1977, when I was in primary school, the first attack took place in Baringo North, in my own village, Mr. Speaker. That time, the President of the Republic, Mr. Speaker, was the first President of the Republic, Mzee Hayati Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. 1 year later, Mr. Speaker, the late President Moi took over from Baringo as the head of state. And for 24 years, Mr. Speaker, this situation of cat rustling continued despite the efforts being taken by government. Mr. Speaker, it is sad again that 10 years of Kibaki, we had the same challenge. In Baringo, Marakwet, in Turkana, in Ishu, in Marsabit. The son of the first president came on board for 10 years, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. The situation never changed, Mr. Speaker. And now the 50th president of the Republic, William Samuel Ruto, and the situation continues. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, in this House, there is a motion by me seeking this House to pass a resolution to declare cattle rustling a national disaster and an establishment of a fund to compensate the victims. Mr. Speaker, the unfortunate situation is that it is only the pastoral people who feel the pinch. But the rest of the country, where there is plenty, where there is food, where there is communication, where they don't feel what it means. Mr. Speaker, recently, a colleague of mine asked me, Cheptumo, how possible is it that you can drive 300 heads of cattle? Is it possible to steal 300 cows, heads of cattle? 1,000? And I don't blame that Kenyan because, practically speaking, it is not tenable. You can't imagine how possible it is. But, Mr. Speaker, from where I come from, you can have one Kenyan having 100 herds of cattle, 200 goats, a millionaire by standards. And when the raiders, Mr. Speaker, come, if the entire livestock, a millionaire in terms of value of livestock becomes a pauper, poor one morning, not able to pay fees, dress, have food for the family. Mr. Speaker, this is a challenge that I want to really say that we are talking about, Mr. Speaker, a situation that has persisted for 49 years, almost the age of our independence, Mr. Speaker. And so, Mr. Speaker, it has caused a lot of effort. Lomeneni is here, I will tell you, Mr. Speaker, the challenges is facing in Turkana. My member of my committee, Dulo there, Wherever we're in meetings in our committee, he keeps on crying because of the situation and so on. Mr. Speaker, you talk of displacement of population. You talk of maiming of people. You talk of killings of people. You have widows. You have widowers. Mr. Speaker, institutions of learning. People are unable to exercise and benefit from Article 43, political, economic, and social rights, Mr. Speaker, are completely denied these people. So, Mr. Speaker, any attempt by any Kenyan and by a member of this House to introduce any law or a proposal, Mr. Speaker, that we think can help to sort out the cat wrestling, Mr. Speaker, I want to say will receive and support. Mr. Speaker, I want to request members of this House to support this particular bill. Mr. Speaker, we have so many social challenges in our counties. Baringo, Mr. Speaker, if you allow me to say that, is one of the counties, Mr. Speaker, that has suffered. 3 days ago, 3 young Kenyans were killed by the bandits, innocent people who were just looking after their livestock. And so, Mr. Speaker, I want to say from this House that, Mr. Speaker, the way the post-election violence, Mr. Speaker, of 2007, 2008, Kenyans paid to compensate the victims of post-election violence, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the cattle rustling, which used to be a traditional kind of situation, is no longer. It is becoming a commercial business. It is becoming political, Mr. Speaker. And it is the right time now, Mr. Speaker, that we pass every law that will enable government, Mr. Speaker, to take stand action. Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, when I led my committee to Elgeyo Marakwet, as said by my colleague Dulo here, one of the recommendations, Mr. Speaker, one of the petitions, which is in this House, and I'll be tabling the report next week, Mr. Speaker, the Elgeyo Marakwet County Assembly is proposing, Mr. Speaker, that we amend the law so that we treat a bandit as a terrorist. And Mr. Speaker, I agree. What the actions of a terrorist and the actions of a bandit is the same. They destroy, they kill, Mr. Speaker. They maim, they steal. What happened in 1998, Mr. Speaker, in the US Embassy here, the bomb blast, is exactly what a bandit is doing. The other day, Mr. Speaker, in Westgate, the same situation. In Dusit, the same situation. Kenyans are dying in numbers the way they also die. And so, Mr. Speaker, we will be moving a motion in this House to amend our laws so that the punishment of a bandit should be at the level of a punishment of a terrorist. So that, Mr. Speaker, we deal with these criminals in a manner that is going to be deterrent, Mr. Speaker, and facilitate, our people to live in peace. Mr. Speaker, I just want to join my colleagues in supporting this bill and say we pass this bill so that, Mr. Speaker, then the government should be able to allocate resources and do the branding of the livestock so that they are able to be tracked and be returned to the people, the owners of the livestock, Mr. Speaker. I want to conclude by saying, Mr. Speaker, I repeat, it is the business of the government of the day. And I want to thank the President, Mr. Speaker, because from the time he took over, he has given the political will. He has made it clear that he will do everything possible to ensure we restore and secure our country, Mr. Speaker, and particularly the counties that have been facing cattle rustling for a very long time. Mr. Speaker, it means that we have to provide enough personnel, sophisticated equipments. Mr. Speaker, let me tell you something, as I tell the House. Sometimes the security forces of this country can actually not face these bandits because the weapons they have, Mr. Speaker, are more sophisticated than the weapons that are being used